Well, incidentally enough, the World Finals 2 weekends from now at Cowden Beath, so that's going to be a big McLeod performance, hopefully. Maybe to bring back the gold as well around. Down on the line here is our newest world champion, 962, John Christie, the National Hot Rod World Champion. He won it in July there at the Ipswich Speedweekend. John, many congratulations. You must feel absolutely brilliant after that.
It was brilliant. It was a brilliant weekend. And, the fact that we went in did not really expecting to win it. There was definitely 3 or 4 boys more in line for winning it than we were. It was sometimes whenever you're sort of the favourite for a championship, you sort of more like relief. But whenever you actually don't really expect it to win it, it's kind of just sort of pure happiness, which was brilliant. So.
Yeah, I hadn't actually been there myself, and I watched it on TV the other night, and it was noticeable how you, when you were interviewed, were playing down expectations before the race.
I wasn't playing it down. I was just rubbish on the Saturday, and there was no expectation. It was just trying. I was lucky I was in the first group. Being in that first group definitely helped. Getting 5th in the grid with a time that would have put me 13th or 15th in the grid normally. And I did set the car up to work in the race knowing I was in that top group, which did end up working in the end. But with such a poor time, being so far off Glenn's time, I wasn't expecting to be up there at all. So anybody was sort of talking to me, there's no point in trying to say you're going to do well, because you're only going to look stupid whenever you're going to run sort of 5th, 6th, 7th. You know.
Yeah, just going back to the qualifying trail, I mean, you managed to nip into that second spot right at the last minute. I mean, if we go back to last September, I mean, the thought of you coming second in the points would have been just fantasy land, really.
Glenn Bell did his best to sort of try and stop me from qualifying, you know, but no, we had that thing, we broke the shoulder. I'd already blown an engine in the first heat at Ballymena in the first round. We were well behind the points. Going into the winter, I was 11th in the points or something like that. But whenever the Glenn and mine things did happen, Glenn was the one that tortured me on the phone all week, saying there's no way you're quitting, you can race with one arm. And I did. I came here and I raced that night, and I tried to, and I just couldn't do it. But it kept me in it helped. It kept me in the points chase in the next couple of weeks. Winning the final, probably the best thing of the whole lot was probably winning the final the following week at Ballymena with one arm. I think that was probably the best probably race of the whole year from my point of view. Like, I going into 2 meetings to go, I still was lying 6th, 7th, 8th in the points. Still wasn't expecting to go. So to go from there to end up actually sort of winning the whole thing was a bit of a fairy tale.
I mean, that was it. I mean, I hadn't been at the last round, but I mean, even as you say, with 2 rounds to go, you were sitting 7th. It was, you know, yourself and Keith and Adam Maxwell back there. It looked doubtful that either you or Keith were going to make it, and suddenly just a burst of form just catapulted you right up into second place. You must have thought they would at least have half a chance being up in the top group, because the way it is now, if you only qualify 6th from Northern Ireland, unless you set the outright fastest lap, you're really you're relying on a bit of rain or something.
Yeah, I was expecting that. I sort of thought, right, if I qualify at all, I'm going to have to get my finger out and get the car on the pace and try and get pole. And I was struggling to find that pace, and I wasn't really planning to go at all. I sort of thought, right, I was enjoying the racing, and that's why I was racing, but I wasn't really worried about the world final. And then I went to Lochgelly, and I wasn't really in the mood for it. I wasn't really in the notion of racing there at all. I thought, right, waste of my time going to Scotland for a weekend, for a good weekend race, and get your finger out, or else quit for till July, and went for it and got the car a bit more on the pace. And like you say, getting in that top group did make all the difference. The last couple of meetings the car was definitely going a lot better, and I was able to mix it and sort of be able to go forward rather than holding people back earlier on in the season. I was actually going forward and looking past people, which definitely helped.
And even just during the race then, you had to obviously bide your time. It looked as though Chris Hurd was getting away. You'd cleared Jason Q, then Hurd had his incident, and then in that incident Q got back past you again. But it was some move you pulled around the outside of Q. It's not often the world final is won with a move around the outside. Like, funny, your father had done it back in '96 on the last bend, but it was some move to win it.
Jason drove a fair line, have to get that to me. He wasn't keen on the start. Like, whenever he got past me again, he sort of made it clear that he was going out to the wall and stuff like that. But whenever I actually did sort of force my way up the outside of me, he did give me room, which it did take that. Like, but the car was so good. The car just really didn't go off at all during the race, which is so seldom you ever get a car that does that. It mightn't have been fast in one lap, but it was definitely fast towards the end of 75. And I dropped back. I'll never know now what I could have done with Chris Hurd, but the engine overheated on about lap 30, just as Chris was passing Glenn. And I was just the car was just starting to come good. I was right behind him, and then I had to drop right back. I had to lift right off because it was firing water out of the header tank at me, and I had to drop right back off. I had to lose about nearly a straight, and sat there for about 10 laps. And then eventually I just decided, right, time to go here, because whether the engine blows up or not, I have to try and get second. But like you say, Chris had the race won, fair play to him. Like, but I'll never know if the engine hadn't overheated, if I could have raced with him or not. But the fact that I did drop back was the right decision, because I definitely would have blown a head gasket or wrecked the engine if I had kept going. So it worked out all right.
So you were racing with your head, as any good Christie would. Your dad's famous for being a bit low key. What words did he have for you when you came home?
He was actually very happy. I didn't really think he would have been. He sort of didn't think he'd sort of say a big lot, but he was actually pretty happy about the whole thing. I brought the car back and all, and he was there. I sort of thought he'd have been lying in his bed somewhere whenever I got off the boat, but there's a few of them there standing waiting on us, and he had a bottle of champagne bought and all. He had a banner made and things like that, which isn't his style at all. Like, and he sat and watched the race with me there on Friday night, and was sitting itching to watch it because he didn't know how the whole thing had went. And he was into it, and he has helped me. He's got a bit more interested in the car this last sort of couple of months, and he definitely has helped a bit. Like, along with all the other boys, I have to mention all the boys that helped me with the car. Adrian Christie, Kieran Davison, Ryan, Jim, Colin McCush, all the boys that work in the car with me. But it is, you know yourself, any of this racing game, it is a team effort. Like.
Looking ahead to the national, and you know yourself, it's become a bit of a tradition to win them both. What do you think the chances are of that?
I'm going to go back to what I said at Ipswich. We're really not fast enough, given the heats, the 25 lap heats. My car, I was straight behind Glenn after 25 laps. That was genuine speed over short distances. If that's the way it is at Hemelsford in the heats, which we haven't had time, to be honest with. We got damaged at Ipswich in the last race, and the engine stripped and all there, and too much work. I haven't had time to work at it, so we'll be going there really to try and get 3 half-decent heat results, get somewhere in the grid if we can, and try and see if we can do the same again and try and come up through a few places. But if we're starting further down the grid, all I can really hope for is to try and get up into maybe a decent sort of top 5, top 10 place or something like that, because I really don't think we're going to have the pace to get up right up in the front of the grid. You know yourself, you need to be right up in the first 2 or 3 rows to have a chance of winning it, you know.
Well, thanks very much, John, for your time. I believe we've a special presentation to make to you here in recognition of you winning the National Hot Rod World Final and becoming the first ever second generation National Hot Rod World Champion. And I think that is the same as what Shane Murray got, a engraved Hugo Boss watch from all the management and staff and everyone here at Tullyroan Oval to mark John's terrific achievement of becoming the 2013 National Hot Rod Champion of the